All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So it's been a while, but I'm going to cover the weed sector today, looking at the usual ones. I'll group tilray and SNDL together. I'll group CGC and ACB together. I'll look at HITI on its own, and then I really want to cover MSOS as well. So technicals aren't looking beautiful right now, all right? And yeah, I do see the 160 holding and maybe being a little bit of a support. I think what's really bothering me is CGC has now fallen all the way to the 200 moving average. We actually have ACB living a little bit below that, right? High tide is continuing the earnings reaction, and that's something you often hear me say, right? And then MSOS is kind of making a nice little recovery. That's actually why I wanted to cover this one. But yeah, it's a little bit of a mixed bag here, right? You can say MSOS is doing well. You can say a couple of them are trying to recover right now. I think a lot of it is going to be what's said tonight. All right, so I'll take us into the fireplace. I'll give you a couple thoughts about the debate today. Again, we're not here to talk about our political opinions or this or that, right? We're looking for that headline that will re-spark what was a dead sector before, the political headlines kicked it back up, right? So I'll talk about all this and more today, but before we do go any further, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated, all right? So before we get into the technicals, let's take a quick look at the fireplace. So look, this is where I come and I kind of give you my opinions, right? There's not a lot of facts behind this. If you disagree, never hesitate, right? I'm just the dude giving thoughts here, right? So tonight is the presidential debate. It's actually the first presidential debate. I'm assuming there's going to be a second one, but hey, even that's somewhat of a rumor, right? Like we know that this one's now, and all eyes are going to be on what these two guys speak about, right? So look, it wasn't that long ago that weed was just in a horrible downtrend, and you can literally say every single stock, right? Kamala Harris brought the sector back to life. And then from there was a little bit of a domino with the DEA rescheduling news and this and that, right? But it was literally her headline that brought this sector back to life. Okay, we are roughly at that same spot, and I'll get to the technical shortly to show that, right? But we're in the place where we need another political headline, or there's some danger coming, you know what I mean? And today feels like the perfect place for that to happen, right? So I really don't know what the polls look like. I don't know if it's about 50-50, if one of them's winning significantly, this or that, right? But I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. This sector feels like a home run sector for the loser. Okay, if one of the two is significantly ahead, and again, I really don't care who is, right? Like, to me, I think the one that's losing can really use weed to lift their poll numbers, right? Like if one of them takes a stand, I think that could be a significant thing. And I feel like losing numbers might make that a desperation move that has to go, right? Again, we just saw Maryland, right? We saw Maryland, the governor removed, I think 100,000, 200,000 federal like records, right? If you had a weed thing on your record and you had a federal strike, they removed that strike, right? And that's a huge thing, right? And the momentum's there. We just need it to happen. The one thing that's kind of bothering me, and again, some people might disagree with this, I was hoping for a little bit more of a buy the rumor on the upcoming debate. Now, maybe some of the recovery that we're seeing on a couple of these are a bit of a buy the rumor, but I think I kind of see more technical reasons for it, not these big silly movements that are, relatively unjustified, right? So I really think we need something big. I'm not sure if this first debate is going to be the one that does it. I'm hoping that there's at least a second or a third, and it feels like by the third something might have to happen. So again, just kind of my guesses, my thoughts, but yeah, I think all eyes should be on the debate today. Hopefully they say something and then we go from there. Hey, it would be amazing if reschedulization is already one of the like questions that is planned to be asked. Again, the louder the questions are, the better. Hey, worst case, we're just kind of hoping for one of them to reach in their pocket and say something otherwise, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's anything outside of this debate. The one thing I want to say is there was a really, really good comment on the last video from someone in Germany about the landscape of Germany. So it looks like there's a conservative right that might be taking some power, but it seems like they don't have the ability to like delegalize. Oh my God, I don't know what the word is. Make it illegal? I don't know. There should be a single word for that. But I'm really curious of what the Germany revenue numbers are. How much tax were they expecting to get? We are literally days away from ending this month. This is the end of the quarter. This is the first 3 months that weed's been legal in Germany. What are the dollars? If someone, I'll even try to do some Googling before the next video, but I really, really want to know how much tax was Germany expecting to get? How much did they actually get? Hey, was there a region that did better than the others and this and that? But oh man, if the number 3 economy in the world just did better by getting extra taxes, by legalizing some green leaf, oh man, that's something that's going to be hard to ignore, right? So I think those are the 2 big things I want to talk about. Please let me know if there's anything that I missed. I think around 7 minutes is a good place to bring us back into the technical. So I want to cover tilray and SNDL on this, okay? And before I do look at the immediates, I just want to remind everyone, this literally was the point. This literally was the line. This was the moment that Kamala Harris dropped her headline. It was right at this exact same line, all right? This day opens at 163. This candle opens at 163. There is an interesting connection between yesterday's candle and that monumental March 15th. Hey, this is live trading hours. I have alerts. Alerts are definitely not immediate buy notifications. I'm obviously like making videos right now, right? So just FYI there. NRIX is an interesting one. Let me just flash that really quickly. Again, nothing is an immediate buy notification, but we are retesting breaking that big candle right there. And I mean, we're actually trying to break the 200 and all the moving averages on the weekly. That's a pretty interesting doji after that last big one. Definitely not here to say buy, sell, hold, and definitely here to not talk about that one right now. But hey, you might see some alerts, just FYI on that, okay? So again, really, really interesting that the Kamala Harris candle and yesterday's candle opened the same place and are you know, again, we're near the debate, right? I'm just throwing things out there, okay? On the technical side, look, 162, I've been talking about this line for a while. We obviously got there, and so far the line is doing the job, right? A support is supposed to be a strong floor that will catch the fall. And hopefully once you land on that floor, you bend your knees and you jump up a little bit, right? And so far the line did it, okay? Right now, I need to get over both the 8 and the 20. All right, I really, really want to break that 20 moving average as well. And then, you know, I'm going to be thinking 185 from there, right? Break the 20, go to the 50. That's going to be the expectation. But we have been below the 8 for a good while now. All right, so this is looking like the first 2 good days is the easy thing to say, right? Since all the like because even including this DEA pop, there hasn't been a good 2 days. And you can kind of say today's in a fantastic second day, right? But yeah, this is kind of the best one too we've seen on tilray in a bit, right? So again, if we can see some good headlines. I mean, that's really what's going to do it, right? I think the important thing to also note is the 50-day line. I'm trying to back out. Yeah, this is where I think that really is our okay, so 11, we'll call it 12, 13 million. That's really where we're going to want this 50-day average to be. We're still a little high at 24. Obviously, all of this, and then even that little bit, all of this, it just pulled the line up a little too much. I think our 50-day line is just a little too high, but again, a good headline will bring a very big candle here, right? So it is really all about what they're saying tonight, but I think 173 is going to be the immediate line. I think I can lower this now. Let's take that there. How can I go here? No, that's too low. We'll take it there. Okay, so I'm taking the bottom of that guy. It's not quite half, but it's almost half of that guy. Yeah, I think 204. I would love 204 to break, and we'll trade that all the way up to 270. That's what? 20, 40, 60. That's more than 30% right there, right? So that's going to be the big money line. But again, there's reasons to think 185 if we start to break the 20 moving average, all right? When I look at SNDL, it is kind of and it's weird. I've been saying, I've been connecting SNDL to TLRY, and I removed it from CGC and ACB, right? CGC, okay, yeah, no, I think I am glad. Okay, cool, yeah. SNDL seems to be kind of doing that same little curve that we see with TLRY, right? SNDL has that same technical reason for it. It looks like it's been able to hold the 50 moving average, right? So that's a good thing. Yeah, and again, Sandal, I haven't said that in a while, I feel. I love calling this thing Sandal. SNDL still looks like it is following TLRY. So I'm glad I actually connected it with the two. You know, you can make the argument that $2 is a fair target right now. That was a nice little candle yesterday. We are looking over it. That's a nice little red. I think the problem just is we're supposed to be a lot closer to 5 million shares, and we're well under half of that, right? So the 50-day line is just a little too high. That's our working problem, and it's basically the same thing as I said with TLRY, right? I was kind of looking for that average point. I think this is really the peak of it, but this one I would say looks a little better. Again, if TLRY, in my opinion, I'm not gonna say it again because I haven't said this yet. If TLRY fails that 20 and heads down, I don't think SNDL will be able to go up on itself. I just. There's 1.2 million total shares here. TLRY has, oh wow, it's only 9 more. Goodness, that's not a big difference. Wow, TLRY dropped a lot of volume. Interesting. Maybe I'm connecting these two just a little too much, but I'm going to hold my comments. I don't think SNDL is going to be able to go up if TLRY goes down. I think SNDL has a better reason to think that $2 is on the horizon. And really, if $2 breaks, there's a nice movement even past that 211, maybe all the way up to 215. So yeah, I think it's easy to say SNDL looks better than TLRY. I still think TLRY is a little bit stronger, and it might pull down SNDL unwarranted, all right? So, yeah, hopefully those were good thoughts right there. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Otherwise, let's come into CGC. And CGC looks a lot more worrisome here. I'm not sure when the last time I covered this, actually, but I feel like I remember talking about this attempt at hopefully recovering the 50. Now we're all the way down here. Goodness. But really quickly, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share, it does wonders with the algorithm. So look, the 200 moving average is a very difficult line to break up, and it should be a very difficult line to lose down. All right. we have made our way all the way down to it, and that's not a good thing, right? We actually just did a death cross today. You want a small one to go above moving at a bigger one. Sorry. You want the 8 to go above it. When the 8 goes below a bigger one, when a smaller one goes below a bigger one, doesn't matter which one, that's a death cross. And we did a death cross from the 8 and the 100 today. It seems like the 8 is still going down as well. Sorry, that green one right there. And it might even try to do another death cross on the 200. What also makes this a little scarier is ACB is already under it, right? So ACB in a single candle, look, it's really, really hard to lose the 200. It's exponentially harder to lose the 200 and the 100 stacked that close. To lose it in a single candle, whoa, that's loud. And look, I just talked about the death cross, right? The 8 not only death crosses the 100, it's also done it on the 200, right? So ACB might be very, very foreshadowing of what CGC is on the way to do, and that's a little bit scary, right? This thing is literally just dying and dying and dying and dying and dying at the hands of the 8 moving average. The 8 and the 20, but the 8 is a stock's best friend, and it lets it bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce, and oh, I lost it, but hey, my best friend the 20 got me back, right? And it's a best friend, or it's a worst enemy that takes you from 10 to 6 really quickly, right? This is clearly a must hold. This is a very, very important must hold. Otherwise, green will be a fast red down to 5, all right? We need a very big political headline coming out of today's debate. We really do. I think if we don't get the headline, it's just hard to believe. Look, I see the RSI with a nice divergence of green over red. My problem is I'm starting to sorry to zoom in and out so much. That was a bad roll. We were a super RSI low of 4.2. 4.3. The RSI just got really low. It needed to come back up, and then I think it's going to go right back down again. Instead of a healthy cool down, we're having these unhealthy cool ups is how I would call it, right? So sorry, my kitty's at the door. What are you doing? What are you doing? You trying to leave? Bye. Sorry about that. So I'm look, it's this hasn't confirmed it. This has definitely tried to stay over it, but yeah, I'm unless we get the help from the headline, it's hard to believe it here. Sorry, ACB. With ACB, look, we haven't necessarily confirmed. That's a bad candle. That's a doji, and that's a bad candle after the doji. It's really hard to think anything other than 430. 430 seems like it's next. If 430 doesn't hold, oh man, so let me just draw these lines. It seems like we're going there, 423. I'll draw that. That's fine. If not, yeah, we're probably coming to that. Those are my 2 lines down there. CDC. Excuse me. Man, I guess that. Those are my 2 lines down. Look, if we don't hold here, we're going to 585. If that doesn't hold, it's gonna be bad from there. All right. So these are tough too. Let me know if there's anything coming up that I should know, or anything we're looking forward to. But yeah, hopefully tonight does the job. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come into high tide. All right. Good. I got rid of the last T. Interesting things happening here, all right? And I think the first thing to talk about is the earnings. And believe me, I thought they were good earnings, all right? If you've been watching my videos on high tide, the last 4 earnings, I've kept saying, hey, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I did my homework on the last earnings. Look, Raj is the only CEO of any of the stocks I cover, and I still do my best to stay as unbiased as I can, all right? But yeah, it was cool seeing Raj reply to me saying that the earnings per share were good, were actually significantly better, not even just good, right? So I was expecting a really good reaction, and look, we just didn't get it. We got these two crazy, crazy dojis. We got a third crazy doji, and then from there, the candles did the rest, right? But our human simple opinions don't matter. We're not here to argue, is this justified? Does they deserve this? Is this manipulation? Look, none of that matters. And all of those comments, in my opinion, they take away from learning important lessons. Earnings are crazy. I have seen, and I sincerely believe we all just saw it again with HITI. I have seen really, really, really good earnings drop for absolutely no reason at all, this one inclusive. I have seen the dumbest of bad earnings with reverse split hints and this and that go up for no reasons, right? Like earnings are crazy, and trying to justify it it's a fool's game. You know what I mean? So to me, this is nothing more than why every single stock, every single sector, from the big boys and girls to the little ones, earnings are crazy. I'd rather not hold. I will ride the wave up, or I will avoid the avalanche down, down. All right. Right now, it looks like there's a reason to think we're going to come up to 233. I'm not 1,000% sure we're breaking that 8 moving average. Like, what bad reactions makes the 8 go down. It looks like the 20 is about to curve down. We did just death cross right there. The 8 did go below the 50 moving average. That's a death cross, right? So there's definitely a little more bad than good. MACD has slipped into the negative. I know that looks like a low RSI, but I know it can go lower. Well, it actually hasn't gone much lower. That's a good sign. Actually, in a really long time, it hasn't been much lower. This was kind of the last time it was significantly lower, and that was back in 22. So that's a good sign, I think. Hopefully the 100 moving average does the job, right? Like, there are technical things happening. That's holding. We're doing better than the last 2 candles so far. Hopefully that's where we close in an hour and 15 minutes, right? Again, there's reasons to think this might come up to 233. I don't think anything really is going to matter unless we can break that 235, start making our way back up to the 20. Clearly, that's the golden yellow line for a reason. If this can reattempt that break of the 254, oh, that's going to be a big move right there, all right? So, again, I really thought that it deserved more. We're never here to I'm telling you, don't blame manipulation and this and that, right? Now, look, if you're long and strong, it's a tough thing, right? Like, I'm not the biggest fan of averaging down. I would much rather average up on a good uptrend, right? But yeah, it's a good earnings. Like, the guy is doing what the guy is supposed to do, the guy being Raj and the company, right? But yeah, this thing just needs a little more love. I think the important thing to also watch is volume. All right, it wasn't that long ago we were struggling to break 200K, right? We're now back in that 200K world. This like million range is starting to feel a little distant memory, right? Like that's not a good thing. We don't want volume to go away, all right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. I want to cover MSOS just really quickly on this, all right? So MSOS has made a decent recovery here. I think there were a lot of us that were expecting a lot more when the DEA announcement came. Again, I remember thinking that 1051 was going to break. It definitely never did, right? You can kind of see the technicals here, right? We make our way all the way down to the 200. We actually lose the 200 pretty significantly. I think the fact that we did not continue down and we actually continued back up, oh man, that's a pretty crazy thing, because there was a lot of scariness that would have came because that's a bad candle and that's almost a confirmation, right? We went from below mall and lose all 5 and die to slowly starting to maybe get over all like 3 of the 5, right? RSI, MACD's picking up, volume's actually starting to pick up. There's some good, interesting things happening here. Yeah, if we can break that 200, which is sitting at 806, there's decent reason to think 850. I think this is maybe the biggest one that's going to be tied to the debate right now. If the president says something, it's going to be about the US, and hey, the MSOS ETF might be the biggest bet. And again, you can always look at MSOX if you want to double that up, right? So MSOX is actually a pretty clean move right here. This thing's actually kind of signaling 411. It's going to be very, very much dependent on what is said tonight, but I'm going to zoom in real quick. That's not bad volume. There's still a little more than an hour. I think we're going to get over the 50-day line today too. MSOX doesn't look that bad, and actually looks a little bit better than MSOS, ironically. But yeah, it'll be interesting what they say today. I think my biggest comment is I can't believe we lost 755 as bad as we did, and it didn't continue down. I think that on its own is a good amount of strength. Get me back over that 200 moving average though. That's an important thing for sure. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Hey, thank you so much.